Yeah, Brian, very soon if you head to the post office like the one right down the street here in downtown Harrisburg, you might find yourself paying more for a package. That's because a fuel surcharge is essentially going into effect with USPS for many of their package services next month on April 26th. But already a lot of consumers as well as business owners say that they are already seeing higher shipping prices. Elementary Coffee Company owner Andrea Grove does not want to make coffee more expensive for her customers, but she says that's not easy to do when inflation, tariffs, and higher shipping prices drive her costs higher.
Seeing it on, the stuff that we get shipped in here on a weekly basis, but also definitely am seeing it from even things that we ship out to others as well.
Grove says business owners in many cases are eating the increased shipping costs. This as the Postal Service seeks an 8% price hike for many of its package services. Brandon Fisher of Harrisburg says he's not a fan of the idea.
It's from the trains to the tractor trailers, everything is going to be more expensive because it costs more to operate.
Other shipping outlets have also announced plans to raise prices, especially for packages that may be coming or going to the Middle East.
As long as there is this physical constraint being placed on production and transportation, kind of shipping of that oil, the supply will be lower than what is kind of needed to stabilize the price.
Pavle Bury with Harrisburg University's economics program telling me that essentially at this point there's not a lot of supply when it comes to oil that's used to produce fuel, but unfortunately that just means prices are going to be higher. He doesn't expect any physical shortages, for instance, of gasoline or diesel, but it will cost that much more to acquire it. In Harrisburg, Tom Lehman, WGAL News 8.
Concern is also growing that Trump will send U.S. ground troops into combat on Iranian soil. When asked, here's what the president said.
Are you considering still putting boots on the ground, and would you do that without going to Congress?
I just have lots of alternatives. We have tremendous numbers of ships over there.
News 8 Washington correspondent Jackie DeFusco reports in our next half hour about the feasibility of sending troops into the region and what they could even be there to do.
And there could be some higher natural gas prices coming for UGI customers. The utility company wants to increase rates by 8%. And Lancaster County was the site of the first of 10 public hearings that are happening all across the state. Let's go to Meredith Jorgensen. She's live in Manheim Township with what people are saying about this. Meredith?
Hi, Lori. So 2 people testified at the first hearing held here at the Manheim Township Public Library, but planners expect more of a turnout for the next meeting, which will kick off in about an hour here at the same place. It was a man and a woman, both retired, who offered their opinions today, and they say they don't think they can afford the rate hike that UGI is asking for. The purpose of the hearing is to listen to comments by UGI customers and members of the public. The Public Utility Commission, which regulates UGI, is investigating whether the requested 8% rate increase is just and reasonable. Lawyers representing UGI are on hand at the meeting, as well as consumer advocates for both customers and small businesses who could be adversely affected by the rate hike. The commission says public input is an important part of this process.
In order to get gas to people, you have to have the infrastructure and you have to have the pipeline, and we want that to be the safest and most reliable. So in order to continue to do those upgrades, it costs money. So we go in for what's called a rate case like this to try to recoup those expenses to make our pipeline what we want it to be.
And I'm starting to look at what my financial planning looks like, and I thought I was fine, but the way everything is going way up, it's like an 8% is a lot.
I think they will take the voice of the consumers that are given at these hearings into consideration when they decide on this request.
The Public Utility Commission, which presides over the hearing, says the rate hike equates to an increase of about $10 a month for the average customer. The customers who testified today questioned how much profit the company would be making as a result of the increase as well. Planners say they did not expect much of a turnout at this first meeting because it's during the day, and they do expect more people to come for the meeting in the next hour because it will be in the evening, which is why they hope to have a couple more people at the meeting that starts at 6 o'clock. In Manheim Township, I'm Meredith Jorgensen, WGAL News 8.
And now we get a live look over York tonight, where there are still some clouds out there. Quite a difference from the sunny weekend we just went through, but clouds usually mean rain.
They do. Let's get over to meteorologist Ethan Houston for a check on this storm team. What are we looking
Mike
at?
Susko.
Oh, I'm sorry, Mike. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mike. Mike Susko.
Right. It's all right, guys. It's a Monday here, and you're right, Lori, though. We do see a little bit of some showers actually in parts of the area here as we go through the evening, and we'll see more rain chances as we go into the rest of the week as well, including tomorrow and Wednesday. And as you're making those plans for Easter weekend, shower chances both days as well. You're looking outside our Lancaster sky cams actually here at WGAL. You notice the tree branch there kind of going back and forth a little bit. It is breezy outside. Winds are out of the southwest, anywhere around 10 to 15 miles per hour right now. So we are seeing a little bit of a light wind, and temperatures in the upper 60s to low 70s. So very mild day across the Susquehanna Valley. And believe it or not, it's going to be warmer as we go to tomorrow. But here's a look at Storm Team Live Radar Network. A few sprinkles there in northern Lancaster and Lebanon County. Also, if you're in Berks County watching, you may see a few sprinkles there, but this is going to all move out as we go through the next hour or so, and it will stay mainly north of the turnpike. So your 12-hour forecast, we see those mild temperatures continue into the overnight hours, dropping back there into the 50s and 60s here, and the rain chances the next couple of days. Few evening showers and storms tomorrow, but a better chance on Wednesday. We'll talk all about it, guys, coming up in a little bit.